Well, we've been kind of watching this Christmas thing, and we think it's gonna keep going. We think
we're gonna ride the wave.
So
we're riding
yeah.
the wave.
So we want to make a Christmas record for a long time, and finally we just had the opportunity. We had finished a contract out and just had a space of time where it seemed like it was the right opportunity, and so we went in and just drew a lot of influence from a lot of the Christmas records we listened to as kids, and now we've been able to tour that for a long time now, and it's been a real treat for us. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Essential was the good old days. Kind of, I mean, the story of meeting Robert Beeson as this kind of, guy under the radar that they weren't one of the big labels at the time, and so we have a lot of sweet memories of just finding Robert as a diamond in the rough, and again, as the Tennessean covered our conversation this morning, we're in a different season, the industry's in a different season, and it's a really exciting time for both labels and artists because we got a clean canvas to start from, and so there's a lot of excitement, a lot of gratitude, a lot of creativity going on, and Provident is really thinking ahead, and we're excited to be partnering with them. It's not like it used to be. Yes!
Yes.
This is Jenna Lee, she's the director of Bloodwater. Jenna Lee Nardella.
I just
She's
got married
now.
Sorry. Jenna Nardella.
He's a great guy.
Bloodwater Mission has been around since 2004. It was started by Jars of Clay. I've been with it since its founding. Our mission is we're a grassroots organization that works together to empower communities to fight the HIV/AIDS and water crisis in Africa. We started the organization with a campaign called the 1,000 Wells Project, and we have a vision of being able to provide 1,000 communities across Africa with safe water. We've also been doing some HIV support in rural areas with clinics to support them. So our organization has been funded solely through grassroots movements of young people who are doing lemonade stands and bike rides across America, people who give dollar bills at concerts. We've been going off of a message that $1 provides a year of water for someone in Africa. And so it's something that everyone can participate in. You can check out Bloodwater Mission at www.bloodwatermission.com.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we understood that, Jars of Clay, we're not the biggest band in the world, but we're not the smallest. And a dear friend of ours always says, it's not everything, it's not nothing, and that's something. And, I think we just saw that we had this amazing story to tell, and it's one that we felt like was compelling enough that other people would invest and feel implicated in it, and in ways that they could actually respond and help. So so for us, I think we've been a bit overwhelmed that so many people have come to the table and have heard the stories and done so much and been able to help raise funds for these incredible things we get to do in Africa. So yeah, I think we'd encourage people to serve in any way that they can, whatever they love to do. I think it seems like that's the key most of all is as we try to teach people that the choices we make here, the way we live out our day, actually makes a difference and affects people in places like Africa. I think whatever we want to do, it really is about not simply having somebody throw some money in a plate so that they can relieve a sense of guilt, but actually help people to invest in other humans, other people's stories, and being provoked then to try to love them well. Not simply to relieve guilt, but to really just say, this is a brother, this is a sister, someone I really care about. And so it represents a shift in kind of our cultural makeup in a sense. A movement away from just living with our trivia and maybe stepping outside of that. So, yeah.
I think first of all, we want to get other artists wearing costumes.
Yeah.
We can tell them that's what Bloodwater is about as well. Dan. No, Dan,
Yeah.
go ahead and answer this, please.
Sure. Sorry, what was the question again? Now, how do we encourage other artists? I think most of it's just by continuing to do what we're doing, to step into this story and to continue to stay involved and active and to care. I mean, there's a lot of benefits that go along with this sort of thing, and not in the sense that it makes us rich or makes people think of us any better, but we stay connected to suffering. You know, we find that it's the human condition that is the fodder for great songs. It's when you look at the world and describe it, it's where, you know, to see God intersecting with the world, those are the places, you know, where things are broken and twisted and things are not as they should. You know, we try to write about the way the world is and the way the world ought to be. And so when you're invested in that, what it does is it keeps you from writing songs about your pets. You know, it's sort of like when you're disconnected from the realities of the world because, you know, whether you have, you know, gain success and so you're able to kind of pad yourself in your own community, you lose touch. You lose the ability to speak honestly and truthfully about what's really happening in the world. And so for artists, I mean, that's a big thing, is to say, you know, you can stay connected to the story God is teaching and writing right now, and you can be right in the middle of it. But it really takes that investment. It takes you to step outside of your comfort zone and stay out of your safety net.
We should add really quickly that we are okay with songs about pets, though. We do, yeah.
I just want to add, we mentioned earlier briefly, but we do recognize a lot of other artists doing incredible work, whether it's jumping on with World Vision or Compassion or starting something smaller. There's so much work to be done, and we're one, and you know, we're recognized tonight. Bloodwater's recognized for its work, but we in turn recognize the incredible work across the board, and I think life makes more sense to artists when they are connected in these ways that Dan's describing.
Yeah, certainly. You know, I think for us we had an experience that we'd never had in Africa, and that was just to actually travel into the desert to visit a school there in a school in a town called Torbi. It's Torbi, I believe. In Kenya, and it's a school where just a few years ago there was a raid from bandits, and they came in and they shot and they killed 22 children, and they killed 40 adults, and but it was a place where Bloodwater had been working on both sides of what we do. We helped. There's a well there, but the water there is very salty, and so along with a well, putting in a rain catchment tank, so they would use the water from the catchment tank to dilute the water from the well so it's drinkable and usable for food. And so we were doing that, and also having doing support for HIV and testing for HIV there. And really what we found, though, is that again, it's that story of hope kind of rising out of suffering. And they had written on the side of the wall in this school, and we endure the pain so we can embrace the gain. And we recognize that there's so much life in the desert. It is the place where God tries things, and things dissolve that don't matter, and things that do matter live, and they carry on, and they become augmented, things like hope and faith. So that was a great experience for us.